Okay, so let's get started with SketchUp. We'll be modeling this particular bedroom in SketchUp. So for that, we have assumed its dimension as 20 feet by 16 feet of area. So we'll go with SketchUp. And because we are taking the dimension as in fits, na, so that's why we'll be using architecture inches template. Okay. So when we open the SketchUp, there is an architecture inches template. We'll go with that particular template. Okay. Okay, Ashutosh.
ओके सर.
कोई प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है?
नहीं सर, नहीं.
So first of all, we'll go to the top view, okay, because we have to create a floor plan layout. So we'll go to the top view, and in the top view, we'll change the camera to parallel projection. We'll create a rectangle. For that, we'll use the rectangle command. Shortcut key as R. Then when we specify the corner point, now you can see that the rectangle is taking the corner point as the diagonal corner. Okay. What we can do is we can press the control key, and we can control press कर सकते हैं. Then the rectangle will start constructing from its the point that we have given to the first point of rectangle. That point will be considered as a center point, and a rectangle will be formed from that particular center point only. Now we'll specify the dimension. We have taken into account as 20 feet by 16 feet of room size. Okay, so we have created a rectangle of 20 feet by 16 feet. If you want, you can write it down also. Now first we'll create this segment as a group. Okay, ठीक है आशुतोष, तो हमने 20 बाई 16 का एक
ओके सर.
रेक्टेंगल बनाया और उसको एक ग्रुप में कन्वर्ट कर दिया. अब ग्रुप में कन्वर्ट करने का नेक्स्ट प्रोसेस क्या करना है हमें? इसको सबसे पहले वी हैव टू स्पेसिफाई द फ्लोर. वी हैव टू क्रिएट द फ्लोर. सो द डेप्थ ऑफ द फ्लोर इज हाउ मच? थिकनेस ऑफ द फ्लोर
4 इंच.
6 inches to 4 inches. Okay. Uh, the slab thickness is about 6 inches to 4 inches. If we are doing interior work, na, so slab thickness may not be our primary concern, but we should know what are the primary thicknesses of slab. So we will take into account as 6 inches of thickness. So for that, we'll go to the group edit command. By double clicking on the group, we will go to the group edit command. Now we'll go to push pull command, and we'll apply the push pull from this surface to downward at a thickness of 6. Then we'll and press enter so that that thickness will get specified on this particular group. Now what we will do, we will offset this surface. So for offsetting, we'll use a offset command from SketchUp. The shortcut key for offset is F. So we'll press F and we'll select the surface. Okay, by clicking the surface, we can select it, and we can specify the direction by moving the mouse inward or outward. So for first of all, we'll create the walls. So the primary walls are of like the boundary walls of a room may be a partition wall. So we will specify the thickness as of 4.5 inches. Okay, now we will again go to push pull command. We'll apply the push pull to this particular surface, and we'll move it to downward at a gap of 6 inches only. Okay, in this manner, we have created a floor layout, and we have created a wall structure for our floor layout. Now, first of all, we'll create the walls. For creating wall, what we will do, we'll use again rectangle tool command. ठीक है आशुतोष, सबसे पहले हमने एक फ्लोर बनाया है 6 इंचेस का. उसके बाद बाहर ऑफसेट कर
ओके
दिया
सर.
वॉल की थिकनेस के बाद 4.5 इंचेस. देन उसको पुश पुल करके डाउन कर दिया. अब हम क्या कर रहे हैं, अब वॉल्स तैयार करनी है हमें. फॉर क्रिएटिंग वॉल, विल यूज द रेक्टेंगल टूल. We'll go to R command. We'll specify the first point is over here, second point is over here. We have created a rectangle. We'll double click on this. First step is to convert our object into group. So we'll double click on this and we'll go to make group feature. Then we'll again go to double click command. By doing double click, we will go to the group editor command. And now we'll apply push pull command. So for that, the shortcut key is P. We'll press the command P. We'll select the surface. We'll specify the upward height as 11 feet 6 inches. Okay, because we can see this is a high heighted house, or we can take it into account as 12 feet, because 6 inches will be covered in our uh, ceiling slab. Na? So that's why we'll take it into account as 12 feet of height. Then we'll again go to push pull command. We'll again apply push pull, and we'll push it to this corner extent of the room. Now we'll exit the room. or exit the group of wall. Now, one thing, I'll change convert our view into perspective view so that we can get a full view properly. Now, I want to create a same wall over here. So what we can do is we can copy this wall at this pointer. So Ashutosh, uh,
Yes, sir.
can you explain how to copy this particular object?
Sir, by move command and
Yeah,
clicking
by
control.
move command we can copy it. Okay. So the first thing is we need to do is we need to select the object which we want to copy. Then we'll go to this move command. Okay, move command in SketchUp. The shortcut key for move is M.
M.
So press M. We'll specify the first pointer over here. We'll specify the control key. Okay. Then we'll specify the direction. So for direction, we can use the arrow key. Okay. Suppose if I want to move in red axis or x axis, we can specify it with the help of right direction arrow. If we want to move the mouse in y direction only, then we can specify it with the help of left arrow. Now, when once I press the left arrow, you can see our mouse will move only in green axis.
Green axis.
If I'll press the direction key from the keyboard of right side, then it will move in red axis. If I'll hit the top arrow, upward arrow key, then it will move the mouse in that direction. So by this manner, we can easily copy the object in particular constraint. And while copying, if once we have pressed Control, it will make copy. If we have pressed Control another time, then it will automatically translate or move the object from one point to another. So that's why we want to copy. So we'll hit the Control again so that it can get copied. Now we'll paste it at this particular corner. In this manner, we have created two walls. Now we want another two walls over here. So what we can do is we can again use a rectangle command. We can create a rectangle over here, or what we can do is rotate with copy. We can apply rotate command because uh, in copy command you can't apply rotation, but in rotation command you can apply copy. Okay, so for that, first of all, we'll select the object which we want to rotate. Then what was the shortcut key for rotate? Ashutosh,
R.
it's R or Q?
Sir, Q. Q.
Yeah, it's, it's Q. Okay.
Yes.
In SketchUp Max, okay, the shortcut key for rotation is Q, not R. Okay, but if you want, we
R
can
for
change that
rectangle.
particular. R is for rectangle, right? Okay. So we'll select the object. We'll go to Q, and now we will first of all we'll specify the axis about which we want to rotate our object. Okay. So we want to rotate perpendicular to the top axis, the z axis. So we'll hit the upward arrow key so that our plane is locked. Now we'll specify the corner point from which we want to rotate it. Specify the first corner point. Then we'll specify the second corner point as the reference point about which we want to rotate our object. Now what we can do is we can either click on this line or we can specify it with the help of angle also. I have specified angle as 90 degrees. Now, when we apply rotate now, as you can see, this particular wall is getting rotated in particular this direction. Okay, but while rotating, if I want to create multiple copies of object, then what we can do is we can select the object. We can hit the Q key so that rotation command will get applied. Now we'll hit the upward arrow key. Okay, now this plane will get locked. We'll specify the first corner point, then we'll specify the second corner point, and while rotating, we'll hit the control key so that multiple objects will get created. Now we'll specify its angle as 90, then we'll hit enter. In this manner, we can create multiple copy of one object while rotating. Now we can see this distances. We can see there is a quite gap between two objects. So what we can do over here, we can double click on this surface. We'll again go to push pull command. Why we need to double click on this? Because it's a group object. So to edit a group, we should go to group editor first of all. So to do that, we have to double click on the surface. Now we'll go to push-pull command. We'll select the surface and we'll stretch it to this end. In this manner, we have created third wall. Now we need to copy this wall at this point. So now, can you tell me how to copy this particular object? We'll move to the first step will be to select the object. Then we'll hit the shortcut key as M. Then we'll start moving it from this particular corner. While moving it, we'll apply the control key as it's for creating duplicate object. Now we'll specify its point as over here. In this manner, we have created 4 walls.
सर
Okay.
कभी कभी मूव करते टाइम हम लोग पिंक डॉटेड लाइन आता है वो क्यों आ जाता है?
Pink, while moving, जब हम move करते हैं object को, while we move the object, ना, we can get some violet color of line. Magenta इधर होगी थोड़ी देर 5:30 इधर ही. Okay. We can get some magenta lines also. Like
Yes.
if I'll create a line at particular angle, na, now if I want to create another line, you can see if I'll move the mouse in x-axis, it will be represented in green axis. If I'll move the mouse in upward direction, it will be represented in blue axis. And if I'll move the horizontal, na, it will be represented in red axis. But if I'll move the mouse in same direction as the previous line, this will be represented with which color?
Magenta.
Magenta color. So it is defining that previously created object. It is moving the object in previously created direction objects. Okay.
Okay.
So that's why you will get some magenta corner lines also. Now, after creating this, we have to create a surface ceiling at the top. So for that, I will copy the base slab. I'll move it, or I can apply copy command. I'll apply copy from this particular top point, and I'll hit the control key so that I can get multiple elements. Now I'll specify the top point as at this particular top. Now we can see this ceiling and wall are getting merged with one another. Okay, so we can rectify it by double clicking on our ceiling, or we can reduce the height of the wall, okay, to 6 inches. Then we can compensate this particular problem, or what we can do is we can reduce the corner ceiling also. So for that, we'll double click on the surface. While working on this, we can see that these two elements are getting overlapped over one another. So we can't easily identify the difference. So for that, what we can do is we can use this edit tool option, sorry, view tool. We will go to the view option, then we'll go to this component edit option, and we'll click on this hide rest of the model option. So what this option will do is, once we have activated this tool, as you can see, we can see a tick over here that means this tool is being activated. Now if we have activated this tool now, when we double click on, or we go to a group editor on any object, we can see that only the object of that group will be visible. All other elements will get hide. Okay, but when when we'll move out the group, out of the group, all other elements will become visible by themselves only. Okay, so by this feature, we can easily work on individual components. So I want to work on ceiling, so I'll double click on this surface. I'll go to push pull command, and I'll and I'll reduce this surface to this height. That was 6 inches of height. Okay, in this manner we have created a box kind of feature. Got it? So before working it, I want to work on this particular view. Na? We are considering it as our front view. So for doing work on a single view, what I'm going to do is I'll set up the first of all I'll set up my view. So for that I'll go to this front view option. Now as you can see that this is the boundary of our room, and other spaces are also visible to us. So what I'll do, I'll use the scroll wheel of the mouse button. I'll scroll it forward so that we can get a zoom view. Now I'll hide this object so that I can easily work on the inner surfaces. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'll right click on this group and I'll go to hide feature. Now you can clearly see the inner surface of a room. Now after uh, this, I'll set up my proper view so that I can work easily on this particular view. Uh, Now I want to work on this view only because we have to create panel layouts and this wardrobe and this wall segment, window segment. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'll use the view command again, and I'll go to this animation scene and I'll go to add scene option. Now, by adding up scene, what are our advantages? Suppose if we have unhide all our elements, we can unhide all the elements by going to edit option. Then you can go to unhide option and you can go to unhide all. So it and by this manner, all the hidden elements will get visible. Now, suppose I have applied hidden to some other elements. I haven't deleted them. I have applied hidden feature to them. Now, if I'll go to this seed one now, what it's going to do is all the elements that were hidden in this screen previously, they, those will become hidden. And if we have hide some new elements, all those elements will become unhidden by themselves, and it will automatically set up our camera view also. So by setting up the screen, we can easily jump into our uh, camera point, okay, so that we can specify them for creating a render and for creating our work views also. In this manner, we have created a work view. Okay. Now, before jumping into other elements, up till here, is there any doubt? Down, आशुतोष, आपको कोई डाउट है या कोई चीज समझ में नहीं आ रही है तो मैं हिंदी में बताऊं?
नहीं सर, समझ में आ रहा। सर वो बस पूछना था, वॉल से क्यों थिकनेस घटाया सर? वॉल तो जाके स्लैब पे टच होती है ना?
राइट, आप कोई भी एक काम कर सकते हो. यू कैन रिड्यूस द वॉल हाइट और यू कैन रिड्यूस द सीलिंग स्लैब. मैंने सीलिंग स्लैब को कम किया, आप चाहो तो सीलिंग स्लैब को उतने रख सकते हो. वॉल हाइट को आप 6 इंचेस कम कर दो, दैट्स इट.
ओके।
ठीक है. बट क्योंकि हमारे इससे का पार्ट नहीं है कोई, तो आप दोनों में से कोई भी फीचर करोगे तो हमें उससे कोई फर्क पड़ेगा नहीं. मैंने अंदर वाला सेगमेंट इसलिए भी ले लिया है क्योंकि फॉल सीलिंग बनानी भी तो हमें अंदर की बाउंड्री चाहिए होती है.
ओके।
तो इसलिए मैं जनरली इंटीरियर में जब भी मैं वर्क करता हूँ मैं हमेशा अंदर की सीलिंग लेता हूँ. ठीक, क्योंकि हमें फॉल सीलिंग बनानी होगी ना, तो फॉल सीलिंग बनाते टाइम हमें हेल्प मिलेगी उससे.
ओके सर, ओके।
ओके, बोलो बोलो, क्लियर?
क्लियर सर।
Okay. Now, the first thing what we're going to do is we'll create this opening for window or sliding door. Okay. Now we can see there is a height cap uh, uh, for this sliding door. This height gap should be of how much thickness? At least 6 inches. This should be okay. So we'll go to SketchUp. 1 second. Okay. So we have created our walls. We have created a floor, we have created a ceiling. Now we want to create this gap for this ventilation window, okay, or sliding door. So we can see that there is a height of about 150 mm or 6 inches height. This height we provide this uh, skirting height, na? So that suppose outside we have a balcony and it's heavy raining. So sometimes what happen is if we do not provide this skirting na, on the balcony side, so what happen is the water may the water may come inside also, or it can deteriorate our this frame structure of our window. So that's why we generally provide skirting on balcony side. Okay, so for doing this, what we have to create this in a model, what we have to do is Okay. Okay. So we want to create window on this wall. So we'll double click on this wall. First of all, we'll have to take up the gap in the gap that is from this wall to this sliding door. Na? So it should be at least about 600 mm, so that it can our sliding table can get behind that particular gap only, and we have a folding gap for our curtains also. So we'll first of all create a gap from this corner in green axis. So we have to lock the green axis first of all. We'll use the left arrow to lock this axis, and we'll create a gap of 30 inches. That means 2.5 feet. Okay. Now this sliding door should be about 8 to 10 feet of length. Okay. So or what you can do is you can take up that 30 inches gap from over here also. Now you can see that this height is length is of 11 feet 9 inches. Okay. So we'll create only for 11 feet only, or we can create it up for 10 feet only. We'll create it for 10 feet. Okay. Now we have to get some gap for skirting also. So for that, we'll use the tape tool. We'll take the skirting height as 6 inches, and we can see that the this height of the door is quite large. It's just below the false ceiling level. So the false ceiling depth of the false ceiling is about 1 feet of we generally have 1 feet of depth of false ceiling, right? So it is just below the false ceiling. We can see that. So we'll take the drop from the top. Okay, we'll reduce it at a gap of 2 feet. Okay. Now this height is of how much to length? 9 feet. Now, if we want to create this sliding door in aluminum sections, we can use two materials for creating this sliding door. It can be 530. 530. We can use two kind of material for creating this sliding door. One can be a UPVC sliding door. One can be aluminum sliding door. So, if we are creating a door for 8 to 9 feet of height, we can use UPVC material. Okay, if we are creating doors for larger height, like 9 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet, then we will be using aluminum sections. Okay, you should keep this in mind also. Huh? UPVC, because the standard length of UPVC that can be available to us is 8 feet to 9 feet of it. Second thing is UPVC is less stronger as compared to aluminum section. If we want a sleek section, we want a luxury or grand look, then we will use aluminum sections. The costing of aluminum sections may vary from 1200 to 3000 per square foot of land. Okay. The costing of UPVC section may vary from 500 to 1200 of land per square foot per land. You can write it down if you want to give some quotation to your client. You can write it down also. These are the points that we should keep in mind while doing the interior work also. Because if a client want a budgeted project, then we will suggest him aluminum instead of aluminum profile. We will go with UPVC sections. Okay, UPVC section will be cheaper as compared to aluminum. Okay, and second, in UPVC section, we will be getting the warranty of about 20 years. Okay, if we'll go with branded products. And if we'll go with aluminum product, na, these are, if you want, we can get this finish in aluminum sections also. and these are powder coated element. Okay, for aluminum section, the warranty we generally get is about 10 years. Okay, then when we come to the coloring thing, aluminum section can be of any desired color that we want. Okay, but UPVC sections come in pre because UPVC PVC are prefabricated, right? So that's why they come in standard color. The standard color that we generally get in UPVC is off white, gray, black, and brown. And with aluminum, we can choose any of the color that we want. That would be matching our theme, like rose gold color. If we want to choose a rose gold color theme, then we can go with aluminum. Suppose if a client is saying no, he wants the look to be in matte black or gray color, then we can for matte black we can either use UPVC or aluminum, both the thing. But if we want a rich look, then we go with aluminum section. If a client is saying he want a budgeted product, then we will go with UPVC section. But while designing in UPVC, we should remember that the maximum height of the sliding door that we can take up to is 9 feet. Standard size is of 8 feet. The maximum UPVC that we can compile is of 8 feet. Okay. Above that, we have to join multiple sections. So for that, we can get a single class structure like this. Okay, if you want, we can we have if multiple height such a larger height segment, then we have to provide some base frame structure for that. Okay, so that's why for high heights we generally use aluminum profiles. We won't use wooden profile for this section because this is the exposed part and it would be in contact with water also. So that's why in balcony side we generally use either UPVC or aluminums. Okay, so we can see that this height is of about 9.5 feet. So we, right. Presently, we are for this design we'll be using aluminum, and if we want to convert it into UPVC, we'll reduce it at a height of 9 feet only. Okay, now we'll delete this guide. In this manner, we have created a skirting opening. Now, if you click on this, you can see over here. Now we have to create a section for wardrobe also. So for that, we'll apply the tape tool. We'll get a gap of 2 feet, and from over here, we'll create a gap of 12 feet. Okay. Now we'll go to rectangle command. We'll create a rectangle for first corner this and second corner this, and we'll convert it into a group. Okay. Now we can see that the wardrobe height is up till here only. So we'll double click on this. We'll go to push pull command. Now I want to see other elements also. So for doing this, what we can do is we can go to this view option. We can go to this component edit option. We can make it off. Okay. Now we'll double click on this group. We'll apply a push pull and we'll take it. We'll take it to a height of 10 feet. No, we'll take it a little bit upward also because we have taken this drop as 6 inches, right? So after making it up till here, we'll again select the surface and we'll again push pull it at a height of 6 inches. Okay. In this manner, we have created a wardrobe cell. Got it? Now we want to create our false ceiling. For creating a false ceiling, what we will do, we'll double click on the ceiling. We'll select the surface. We'll apply Control C command. So by applying Control C, we have copied the surface. Now we will go to edit option, and in edit, we'll exit the group first of all. Okay, we have exited the group. Now you can see that. Now we will go to this edit option and we'll go to paste and place feature. Okay. Now we'll right click on this paste and place feature and we'll convert it into a group. Okay. Now we can see that false ceiling. We can see there's a drop from the corner of the false ceiling, and this height is little bit upward. So we'll create a false ceiling in this manner only. So for making it in this manner, we'll double click on the surface that we have created. Okay, we'll apply it at a drop of, as you can see that clearly that the drop is of about 1 feet. We'll apply it at a drop of 1 feet. Now we can see there is the gap. This gap is called as what?
Which gap?
This curtain gap. Palmet. We have given it in our last session also. Okay, this gap is of Palmet gap. Okay. So this gap is about 6 inches to 9 inches. It can vary. If we want a double curtain or triple layer curtain, it can vary according to that. If we are using a single rod structure, then we can provide a gap of 6 inches. If we are using two rods, then we should apply a gap of at least 8 inches. Okay. And if we are creating a motorized system that means automation, like with buttons or with Alexa, we want to control the opening of the curtain, then we should create a gap of at least 10 inches. Okay. So uh, presently uh, we'll use the gap as 8 inches. Okay. So we want to reduce this width of this false ceiling up to 8 inches. So for that, I can use this edit tool option, component edit, and we can again click on hide rest of the model so that other element will get invisible. Now we'll go to push pull command, we'll apply push pull and we'll create a depth of 8 inches over here. Now we can see the drop, we can see a corner at the drop. No? So for this, what we will do, we'll double click on this false ceiling. We'll create a offset of about 8 inches, okay, or 9 inches. We create a gap of 9 inches first of all. Now we will apply a push pull at a depth of 9 inches. The complete depth was 1 foot, okay, but we have applied it as the depth, we have taken into account the depth as 9 inches. Okay, clear? Everything up clear? Now we can see above the wardrobe. Now this segment is coming outside of the wardrobe, right? So for this, what we will do, we'll select the surface. With the depth of wardrobe, we have taken it into as 24 inches, right? 2 feet. So we'll apply a push pull of 24 inches. Okay, and I'll apply the copy command and I'll copy the surface backward at a gap of 24 inches only. No, sorry, not 24 inches, 9 inches. We'll cut the surface first of all. We'll make the surface and green axis, or we can create a line over here. Okay, in this manner, we have created boundary box and a platform for this surface. Okay, now what we are going to do is we can see that there is a hairline gap between this, and there is a drop kind of thing at this corner, right? Of creating this kind of thing, what we'll do, we'll again go to this false ceiling. sorry, sorry. Okay, then we'll apply an offset on this inner surface of 1 inch. Okay, inward. Then we'll apply the push pull command and we'll make it upward. We can see that this top surface is at 9 inches, but instead of 9 inches, we'll make it as 8 inches. Okay, so that we can get a L corner groove on all around surfaces. Got it? Clear? Clear? Now, another thing that we want is we want to we can see there's some light kind of thing coming from the top of the surface, right? So for this, I'll double click over here. I'll copy this line. So for copy, I'll select the line. I'll apply control command from this surface and I'll copy it at a gap of 4 inches around. Okay, I'll copy it at a gap of 4 inches and we'll apply a push pull. Now you can see that if we'll remove it up till height of 3 inches, you can see there is no external surface is going to be attached. So instead of push pulling it to 3 inches, we'll push pull it to a gap of 2.5 inches. Okay, and the drop from over here, we can see this is 8 inches, right? So instead of 8 inches, we'll uh, reduce this gap as 2 inches also, so that we can get a gap of 6 inches over here. Now we will now what we'll do, we'll use the tape tool. Okay, we'll apply a tape gap of 1 inch over here and 1 inch over here. We'll connect these two edges. Okay, so we are getting this surface. Now we'll apply push pull on this surface up till this corner. So this angle slope will is going to act as our light, so that it can reflect the light on this positive. Okay, you can also see that we are getting an angular kind of lighting effect over here. So for this, we have created an angular lighting kind of setup. I'll again go to this screen view. So we have up till here we have created our false ceiling. Okay, and we have created the base floor. Okay. Hello. So for creating our paneling layout, first of all, what we'll do, because panel is a this is called paneling is what when we cover our wall with another element. That process is called as paneling. Okay. So for creating paneling, what I'm going to do is I'll go to tape tool. Okay, I'll create a gap of 1.5 inches. Okay, I'll use the rectangle tool and I'll create a rectangle from over here to here. Okay, I'll double click on the surface and I'll go to make group option. I'll double click on it and I'll move it upward up till to surface, or you can go up till over here or here. Okay, so we have created another rectangle over here. If you want to see the visual difference, I'll hide this element. Now you can see that we have created another rectangle because it is overlapping its surface. So what I'm going to do is I'll double click on this false ceiling. Okay, and I'll go to this component and adjust the model. Now because we have used 1.5 inches from this surface, so we have to move this false ceiling left hand side at a gap of 1.5 inches. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'll select this false ceiling from a blue window. That means I'll specify the first point as left side and second point as right side. Okay, and apply move command and I'll move it in green axis at a gap of 1.5 inches. Now what I can do is I can refill the 1.5 inches gap, or I can keep it like this, like this also, because these elements will come in contact with each other. So, and as you can see, there should be a hairline gap between these two, or in this thing, we can see that this false ceiling, it is coming from the wall, and these segments are stopping at this particular surface. So if we want a view like this, what we can do is we can double click on this. We can apply push pull to a gap of 1.5 inches. Okay. Now what we can do is we can reduce the height of the surface. Lower it. Okay. So by this, we'll get equal surfaces from all around corner. Okay. Now, for creating paneling, we have to create these grooves, right? So, as we have talked, we will take into account these gaps as 3 feet. Okay. We can see clearly over here that this gap is quite small as compared to the side one. So, what we are going to do is we'll double click on this groove. Also, paneling layout. We'll copy this surface. We'll copy it from this corner and we'll move it in right thread axis. We'll create a copy at 3 feet. Okay. Once I have copied an element, I'll press the X command. Okay. And I'll type in the value as 4 and I'll hit enter. So you can see that we have copied this line 4 times, but still some segments are still remaining. So I will again press X and I'll press the value as 6. Now you can clearly see we have copied 6, we have created 6 segments on the surface, right? Now this first segment will come under deco polish. The second segment will also come under deco polish. The third segment will also come under deco polish. But the last 3 segment will be covered with what? Over here. So the last 3 segment will be from over here to here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'll copy these surfaces. I'll apply Control C command. I'll remove these surfaces because these paneling would be of different material and the right side paneling would be of different material, right? So I'll remove these surfaces and I'll press escape. Then I'll again go to this edit feature command. I'll go to paste feature and I'll right click on these elements and I'll convert it into a separate profile. I'll double click on this surface and we'll apply a push pull gap. When we are applying a push pull, now you can see we are getting a hollow surface. Right? So for this, what we can do is we can apply Control T, okay, and we'll apply a gap of 1.5 inches. We'll repeat the same process with 20. We'll make the surface. So in this manner, we have created 2 panels, different panels. Now we want to create these panel of larger thickness compared to this one. No? So for this, what I'm going to do, I'll double click on this paneling. I'll select this line surface by blue window. That is, first point will be selected from left corner, and the second point will be from right corner. And I'll apply move command, and I'll apply move it, and apply move to gap of 4.5 inches. And same thing I'll repeat over here, 4.5 inches. In this manner, we have created a panel of about 3.45 inches. Or what you can do is instead of 4.5 inches, you can apply, move it at a gap of 3 inches and same thing over here, 3 inches over here. So we have reduced 1 foot and half of it is added to this paneling. Same thing we can see over here also. These 2 segments are quite larger. This is a smaller segment. Or if you want, you can create them as of equivalent. Okay, it's as per your usage. Mentioning. Now we can see there is a groove at the sill height also. That is over here. So we have to create a groove at this particular level also. So we'll use the tape tool. We'll apply a tape tool and we'll create a height of 3 feet. Okay, we'll apply, and we'll create a line from over here to here. We'll do the same thing over here also. We'll apply the tape tool. Will create a partition line from here to here. Okay, and we will delete the guides. So in this manner, we have divided our paneling into multiple surfaces. Okay, now up till here, you have to complete your project till here. Tomorrow, we'll be studying how to create groups and how to apply materials. Okay,